Hello and welcome back to Me Developing Me, where we are all about growing our careers and taking our lives to the next level. So before I continue with today's video, I noticed at least 7,000 of you have watched my videos. I am so grateful. Thank you very much. But I only have a little over 100 subscribers, so please click the bell notification and subscribe. So we are about growing our careers not only this year but in the next decade. It is important that we continue to be lifelong learners, and part of it means finding individuals in your industry who are experts at what they do or are where you want to be, and ask them how it is that they do what they do. Learn what are some of the habits and routines that they apply on a daily, on a monthly, on an annual basis, and really start seeing what would work for you in order for you to take your career to the next level. In the past, I have spoken about informational interviews, and basically what an informational interview is, it's an interview where you gain information. You do your research about what is it that it takes for me to move from here to there. And individuals who've already traveled the journey are quite often very happy to share their journeys with you. Beyond that, you can also read books, read their autobiographies. You know, one of my favorite books is the book by Tim Ferriss, A Tribe of Mentors. And it really is one of the greatest ways to not only learn from experts, but to really build that relationship, or, read their stuff before you even attempt approaching them. Work out loud. And when I say work out loud, I mean whatever it is that you're doing, if there is something good, you are adding value, don't only do it in your little corner, but actually work out loud. That's part of what I'm doing. I'm in skills development and I love what I do. And part of working out loud is really sharing what I'm doing. At times it means, yes, cheering myself on all by myself, with only 100 subscribers. So please do subscribe, but really do work out loud and share with not only your industry but others as well. LinkedIn has is an amazing platform for you to publicly share your expertise and really add value. And that is actually how you will be found and be headhunted, which is part of my prayer for this year. I will keep you posted. A while ago, I learned this amazing term that there's individuals who are ambitious, lazy people. So refuse to be an ambitious, lazy person. And basically that is the person who has big dreams but has very mediocre habits. Not even mediocre, they just downright lazy and they do nothing. And quite often how those individuals come across, they're quite often the individual who complains because they watch this video, they're like, I can do better than that, but what have they done? So this decade, this year, let us refuse to be ambitious, lazy people. Let us be ambitious, but also let us back it up with action. Planning. A while ago, I used to really have an issue around this concept of planning, because I think a part of me, I love being spontaneous, just going with the flow and just waking up and doing what it is that I feel like doing. But it is important to plan. Let us have a plan not only for the week, for the month, but for the year. And part of planning, think about it this way. Every week, or this is what I try to do on a Sunday, I look at what are my top 3 must accomplish goals. And really that starts speaking to the 80-20 principle. Quite often we hear that 20% of what we do would give us 80% of the results. So you want to figure out that for this week, what are the top 3 must achieves, my must do or dies, and make sure that your priority for the week is actually ensuring that you achieve those. One of the things I have come to really grow at is becoming a completist. And by this, it means what you start, you see it to the end. Even if it means you are crawling all the way to the end because everything in you is saying no, but really just work towards completing. It does so many things. It's good for you on so many levels. Part of it actually even builds your self-esteem. It builds your integrity with yourself. So that is one of the ideas that will really help us to take our careers to the next level in this decade. And another thing that I have really found quite helpful is to learn how to manage up. Going back to knowing your top 3 goals you must achieve this week, you must achieve this month. Do create some time either via email or engage with your boss to just ensure that you're on the same page, because the last thing you want to do is to be focusing on priorities that seem a priority to you, but the individual who actually has an influence in how far you grow, that is not quite how they see. So you always want to get their perspective, as well as then also just keep them updated. So it's really all about managing up and managing those expectations. Growing to love feedback and really go out of your way to seek feedback. One of the things, let's say for example, you are presenting at a committee or a certain forum, do ask your peers to give you feedback on how you showed up, what you could have done differently, what you did really well that you must continue doing, and what it is that they would encourage you to that you would stop doing, which actually, is probably hurting your brand. So let us become lovers of feedback, because that is how we grow. Speaking of managing up, one of the things that is important is understanding the environment that you work in. And part of that is actually your dress code. And looking at the culture, looking at people who are more senior to you, who are where you desire to be, start working your wardrobe and aligning it to that, because the truth is, it's no use trying to express your personality and you're in a very conservative environment, or being very conservative in a very free environment. So you want to align your dress code to that culture, because part of your dress code actually communicates non-verbally. So look at the individuals who are where you want to be at and start aligning your dress code to that, unless you obviously are happy where you're at, and which is not you if you are at this point. And also, speaking of earlier we spoke about managing up. One of the things I know a number of people at times experience is anxiety. There are those times when you feel quite overwhelmed. It is important, one of the key strategies to managing anxiety is to start taking small steps to, in terms of managing that mountain or that workload that you have. So let us please manage anxiety with action. And obviously, beyond that, almost most workplaces have employee assistance programs and do use those services to really manage your anxiety further. And they quite often would give you invaluable tools on just how to manage your environment, your culture, etc. And speaking of employee assistance programs, it is also important. One of the things I've done is to actually get a coach. At times, I think, even the greatest star has a coach. Oprah Winfrey has at least 4 coaches, from what I believe once upon a time she shared. So it is important that you have a coach, because one of the things that a coach helps you do is to really help to crystallize some of the ideas that you may have in your head, or even some of the challenges, and just give you a different perspective. And what I love about coaching, they don't give you the solutions, but it's just to help you get to your own unique solution, a solution that works for you. One of the things I've learned is to actually, there's a book called Women Don't Ask. It's an audiobook on Audible. But one of the things is that women and even certain minorities, quite often we are scared to ask. Not only just ask for money, but ask for exposure. If you are aware there's a certain project that really speaks to the strategy of your organization, do ask for permission to be involved in those high visibility projects. Having asked for exposure to be involved in certain high visibility projects, it's also important to continue building those relationships. And we spoke about mentorship. And one of the ideas around finding mentors or building mentorship relationships is to actually not approach individuals and say, will you please be my mentor, but rather to look at what are the business problems that you have or the business challenges that you have, and rather approach somebody and say, may I get your input on this, on XYZ issue. And quite often you would have a better response than if somebody asks someone, will you be my mentor? Loving the job you have. A number of us, or at some point, we all have been in a place where you may have been in a job that is not necessarily ideal. But in order for you to even have a chance at growing, not only growing your career, but at actually growing to where you desire to be, it starts with first being intentional, loving the job that you have, applying yourself fully and immersing yourself where you are at. And then lastly, before my battery runs out, the last idea is around gratitude. When I think of gratitude, it's not only the foundation, or if you'd call it the foundation stone or the cornerstone, but it is also the capstone, like the last stone, the cherry on top. So be intentional to be grateful. Find what is right in your environment, what you can give thanks for. And one of the things is that what you appreciate actually does appreciate. So let us be intentional about being grateful. What one thing are you grateful for this week concerning your career? Thank you very much. My battery has survived. I look forward to seeing you next video. Please do subscribe. Let us at least get to 200 subscribers. Thank you.